2020 was a year in politics that will never be forgotten. It started with an impeachment, followed by a campaign that played out during a pandemic, and now the transition to a new president. Joining us with a look at what 2021 holds is NBC's White House correspondent, Weekend Today anchor Kristen Welker. Hi, Kristen. Good morning to you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Savannah. It's so good to see you.
Well, we don't have to wait for a campaign for very long, do we? We have the Georgia runoffs just a few days away now. What are you watching? This is really a battle for who controls the Senate, Republicans or Democrats?
The stakes could not be higher, Savannah. You're absolutely right. We have two key races that we're watching, and they're razor tight in ruby red Georgia, which is, of course, a state that Biden flipped. The first time a Democrat won the state since 1992. So this is in play. These two races between the Republican Kelly Loeffler and Jon Ossoff, David Perdue, the Republican, running against Democrat Raphael Warnock. And one of the components of this race has been President Trump and the fact that he has been sending out these baseless claims of voter fraud. And so you have Republicans in Georgia and all across the country wondering what that is going to do to turnout. Savannah, will that actually depress turnout among Republicans and give Democrats a boost? That's the big question. President Trump, President-elect Biden have been campaigning in the state because everything rides on this. And if Republicans lose just one seat, President Trump will get a lot of blame, and if they lose two seats, then Democrats will take back control of the Senate, and that will just give Biden a big boost heading into the first term of his presidency.
Yeah, and on that topic, a little later this month is the inauguration, January 20th. It's going to be looking very different because of the pandemic. But let's look at that first 100 days. That's what we usually look at. What has he laid out in terms of an agenda?
Well, look, Savannah, I think you are going to see President-elect Biden really focus on some executive actions his first day in office that will be aimed at reversing some of the actions that President Trump took on the issue of immigration, climate change, reversing some of what we saw President Trump do there. And then I think legislatively, I am told, according to Biden transition officials, the focus is going to be on healing the country, both in terms of COVID-19 and financially. So you're going to see a big focus on COVID-19. He has vowed 100 million vaccines sent out in his first 100 days. And then there's going to be a big push for a financial stimulus package. Will he be able to get that done? If he can, Savannah, that will really require him to reach across the aisle to work with Republicans to try to get that through. And there could be pressure on both sides because, of course, Americans are hurting right now, Savannah.
Yeah, and of course, depends on what happens in Georgia to bring it full circle. And then finally, Donald Trump, he has hinted that he may announce his running for re-election in 2024 on the day of inauguration. What do you expect from Donald Trump?
Well, this is really interesting, Savannah, because right now there are two competing ideas. Should President Trump announce his re-election campaign on the day of Joe Biden's inauguration? Should he try to create some type of a split screen? I can tell you that there is a growing push inside the Republican Party for him not to do that. Why? Well, because some of his allies say, look, he would essentially not get the full momentum that he would want from an announcement like that. But number two, there's a financial component to this, because if he were to re-announce that he was running for re-election on the day of the inauguration, that would effectively be 4 years of having to adhere to FEC guidelines when it comes to raising money and transparency about that. So will he wait? A lot of Republicans are saying, look, he'll get more momentum if he waits until after the midterms, 2022. But he hasn't decided yet, Savannah. And I can tell you that there's growing frustration inside the Republican Party about that. They want to know what President Trump's off-ramp is. They say the uncertainty is not good for the country and it's not good for their party, Savannah.
All right, Kristen Welker, guess what? You're going to be busy this year, and we're so glad to have you with us. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. You too.